What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Clemson Tigers versus Duke Blue Devils. Clemson's a 10.8% chance to win, and Duke has a 89.2% chance to win. This is at Duke's and Clemson's 20 Nation 20-5 record. Duke is 4 Nation 22-2 record. For stats, Duke is more points per game. Clemson is more points against. Duke is a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Duke will beat Clemson. Kansas Jayhawks versus Iowa State Cyclones. Kansas has a 26.8% chance to win. Iowa State has a 73.2% chance to win. This is at Iowa State. So Kansas is 9 Nation, 19-5 record. Iowa State's 5 Nation, 21-3 record. For stats, Iowa State has more points per game. Kansas has more points against. Iowa State has a higher field goal percentage. Kansas has more rebounds per game. Iowa State has more assists per game. Kansas has more blocks per game, and Iowa State has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Iowa State will beat Kansas. St. John's Red Storm versus Providence Friars. So St. John's is a 69% chance to win, and Providence has a 31% chance to win. This is at Providence, so St. John's is 17 Nation, 19-5 record. Providence is unranked, 11-14 record. Yeah, spread's pretty low despite that. So for stats, Providence has more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage, slightly more rebounds per game. St. John's has slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and has more steals per game. The only stat that is really a big difference is the points against, where it's a 13.4 difference in favor of St. John's. So now with home field advantage, I don't know how much that'll matter in Providence St. John's games. I don't know how much home field advantage will actually matter there. But that points against difference, with that, I think St. John's is definitely beating Providence. Texas A&M Aggies versus Vanderbilt Commodores. A&M is a 25.6% chance to win, and Vandy is a 74.4% chance to win. This is at Vanderbilt, so A&M is unranked, 17-7 record. Vandy is 19 Nation, 20-4 record. For stats, A&M is more points per game, points against. Vandy's a higher field goal percentage. A&M is more rebounds per game, assists per game. Vandy is more blocks per game and slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Vanderbilt will beat Texas A&M. Kentucky Wildcats versus Florida Gators. Kentucky is a 20.5% chance to win. Florida is a 79.5% chance to win. This is at Florida, so Kentucky's 25 Nation, 17-7 record. Florida's 14 Nation, 18-6 record. For stats, Florida's more points per game. Kentucky's slightly higher, slightly more points against. Field goal percentage is even. Florida has more rebounds per game, slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and Kentucky has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Florida will beat Kentucky. Louisville Cardinals versus Baylor Bears. Louisville has a 78.1% chance to win, and Baylor has a 21.9% chance to win. This game's at Fort Worth, Texas, so basically Baylor's the home team in this. So so Louisville is 24 nation, 18-6 record. Baylor's unranked, 13-11 record. For stats, Louisville's more points per game. Baylor has more points against and a slightly higher field goal percentage. Louisville's more rebounds per game, assists per game. Baylor's more blocks per game, and Louisville has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Baylor will beat Louisville. Purdue Boilermakers versus Iowa Hawkeyes. Purdue has a 58.9% chance to win, and Iowa's a 41.1% chance to win. This is at Iowa, so Purdue's 13 nation, 24 record. Iowa's unranked, 18-6 record. For stats, Purdue has more points per game, points against. Uh, Iowa's a slightly higher field goal percentage. Purdue has more rebounds per game, assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and Iowa has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Iowa will beat Purdue. Texas Tech Red Raiders versus Arizona Wildcats. Texas Tech has a 16.5% chance to win. Arizona's a 3.5% chance to win. Uh, this game is this is at Arizona, so Texas Tech is 16 nation, 18-6 record. Arizona's 1 nation, 23-1 record. For stats, Arizona's more points per game. Texas Tech has more points against. Arizona's a higher field goal percentage, and there's more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Arizona will beat Texas Tech. Virginia Cavaliers versus Ohio State Buckeyes. Virginia is a 59.7% chance to win. Ohio State is a 40.3% chance to win. This game's in Nashville, Tennessee, so neither one's really like a home team here. So yeah, so Virginia's 15 nation, 21-3 record. Ohio State's unranked, 16-8 record. So yeah, for stats, Virginia has slightly more points per game. Ohio State has more points against, and has more field percent, higher field goal percentage. Virginia has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Ohio State will beat Virginia. Auburn Tigers versus Arkansas Razorbacks. Auburn is a 34.4% chance to win. Arkansas is a 65.6% chance to win. This is at Arkansas, so Auburn's unranked 14-10 record. Arkansas's 21 nation, 18-6 record. For stats, Arkansas has more points per game. Auburn has more points against. Arkansas has a higher field goal percentage. Auburn has slightly more rebounds per game. Arkansas has more assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and Auburn has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Arkansas will beat Auburn. Gonzaga Bulldogs versus Santa Clara Broncos. Gonzaga has a 78% chance to win. Santa Clara has a 22% chance to win. This is at Santa Clara, so Gonzaga's 12 nation, 24-2 record. Santa Clara's unranked, 22-5 record. For stats, Gonzaga's were points per game. Santa Clara's were points against. Gonzaga's a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game. Santa Clara's slightly more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close. Now, this is Santa Clara and Gonzaga. Like Santa Clara, I don't think home field advantage is really gonna help Santa Clara. And Gonzaga, I'm sure has a higher basketball fan base than Santa Clara. And so it might have more people. It being out, Washington, it may have more people at Santa Clara. And yeah, so home field advantage may matter. So all we gotta go by is Gonzaga's history in the regular season. So yeah, I think Gonzaga will beat Santa Clara. College women's basketball. South Carolina Gamecocks versus LSU Tigers. South Carolina is a 46.2% chance to win. LSU is a 53.8% chance to win. This is at LSU, so South Carolina is 3 in nation, 24-2 record. LSU's 6 in nation, 22-3 record. For stats, LSU has more points per game, points against. Field goal percentage is even. LSU is has more rebounds per game, slightly more assists per game. South Carolina has more blocks per game, and LSU has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think LSU will beat South Carolina. College baseball. Arizona Wildcats versus Oregon State Beavers. So this game is at Surprise, Arizona. So Arizona is basically kind of like a home team, even though Oregon State's officially listed as the home team for this game. So Arizona is 24 nation, 0-1 record. Oregon State's 12 nation, 0-1 record. Yeah, so both teams are going to be looking for their first win. So yeah, this could be a big game. Obviously Oregon State, rich history of baseball. So is Arizona. Early in the season, so a lot of teams are still getting the kinks worked out, with pitching staffs and all that. And so I think with this being that, in Arizona, I think Arizona will beat Oregon State. TCU Horned Frogs versus Arkansas Razorbacks. TCU, this game is at Arlington, Texas, so it's basically a home game for TCU because it's part of the Shriners Children's College Showdown. So TCU's 10 nation, 1-0 record. Arkansas's 7 nation, 1-0 record. This could be a really good game. Two like your big Midwest teams, because you have Big 12 contender, SEC contender. Like this could be a really good game. With it being in Arlington, um, and like Texas, I think is gonna be the home field advantage is gonna be a big thing. So I think TCU will beat Arkansas. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.